Namaste, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here. Welcome to Fire Your MD Now, where the world comes to talk about all things having to do with science-based, clinically verified, authentic, pragmatical, practical, results-oriented, holistic medicine. The call-in number 866-582-9933, the 866-582-9933. That's 866-582-9933. And remember, today, yesterday, and tomorrow, and every day, I am going to be encouraging you and your family members and your church members and your community members to fire your MDs now. Don't wait. What are you waiting for? Cancel your comprehensive medical insurance, buy catastrophic insurance instead. Educate yourself about medical nutrition because it's easy. Sign up with Longevity. Take one healthy start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month, one bottle of selenium per 50 pounds of body weight per month, and one bottle, I've added something because, you know, it's called the practice of medicine for a reason. We learn stuff as we go along. One bottle of Z-Radical per 100 pounds of body weight per month, and if you really want to push that envelope, do 4 bottles of Z-Radical a month. Now, if all of this is outside of your budget, then, you know, join us, because Dr. Wallach, in his wisdom, set Longevity up as a networked business, and you can interface with us on 2 different levels. You can interface with us as a customer. Call up a Longevity representative, call up this radio show, tell us what your health concern is, and we'll give you advice about science-based, clinically verified alternatives to drugs and surgery, nutritional therapeutics that you can start today, which support and promote the ability of your body to optimize itself. So we've got it all dialed in. It doesn't matter what you're suffering from. Our fundamental tenet here is that, you know, disease as a separate and distinct entity does not exist. You know, you can't bring me a box of arthritis. You can't bring me a box of high blood pressure. But what do exist are individual people with individual imbalances, which cause symptoms that then the MDs get together and define as certain diagnostic conditions, right? I could have quintuplets, all with a definitive diagnosis of asthma from an MD. They could have exactly the same genes right there, quintuplets, identical. They've all got asthma, according to the MD. But from my point of view, if I was going to interface with those kids in a state where I'm licensed and use homeopathic medicine, there's no homeopathic medicine for asthma because asthma doesn't exist. What do exist are people with imbalances, deficiencies, and symptomology in their respiratory tract, in this case. So the first quintuplet, their asthma may be evident when they inhale. The second kid, their asthma may only be evident when they exhale. The third kid, his chest might feel like there's an elephant standing on it. The fourth kid, his chest might feel like it's full of cotton wool, cotton balls. And the fifth kid might have the experience that their asthma is only present in rainy weather. Now, you know, that these are all dramatically different symptom pictures. But to the MD, none of that matters. None of the patient's actual experience symptomatically. The patient's subjective symptoms matter. It doesn't matter to the MD. The only thing that matters to the MD is objective symptoms, things they can measure. Here, you know, breathe into this respiratory measuring tool. Breathe into this spirometer. And then I'm going to tell you whether you have asthma or not. It's all based on objective criteria. And because they completely overlook all of the subjective symptoms, all of the ways that that illness makes that living, breathing human being feel, the intimate way in which the symptoms show up, they completely miss the boat. And, you know, because we live in a backwards, old-fashioned, outdated, scientific culture, You know, it's all about Newtonian physics, not so much about quantum physics. It will be 50 years from now, God willing, but not now. We've been socialized into believing that disease is a separate and distinct entity. Oh, you know, I have asthma. No, you don't. There's no such thing as asthma. You can't bring me a box of asthma, can you? You can bring me a box of apples. Apples exist. You can bring me, you know, some donuts, gluten-free. But you can't bring me a box of asthma. You can't do it. Asthma is an intangible name. It's a name given to an intangible set of symptoms that's showing up in a living, breathing human being. And everybody's symptoms are completely different. It's rare that you get a disease, the manifestation of a physiological imbalance which generates exactly the same symptoms in everybody. Usually the only things that do that are really severe cases of influenza, like really severe cases, like bad influenza strains, like the Spanish flu after World War I. The symptoms of the Spanish flu after World War I were almost exactly the same no matter who got it. But, you know, it's not like that anymore. It's rare that these things show up. So this is why the naturopathic maxim exists. One of the fundamental tenets of naturopathic medicine is don't treat the illness because the illness doesn't exist. Treat the patient. You know, I've helped thousands of people over the last 20 years to recover their health, and never once have I treated a disease. Never once has a disease walked into my room. Never once. I've had thousands of people walk into my room, but never once has a disease walked into my room. And if a disease ever does walk into my room, it's going to scare the crap out of me. You know, because it doesn't exist. I'm going to be dead. If that ever happens, I'm going to be dead, or I'm going to have been abducted by the aliens and taken to planet Mongo or wherever they live. And that's going to be the long and the short of it. So don't be fooled by all of this nonsense about, you know, specific diseases. And of course, what drills this home in our head? What drills this illusion home in our head? Direct-to-consumer ads, right? They've even convinced you that sleep apnea is in fact an illness. It's not. Sleep apnea is a physician-created disease. Sleep apnea. Nobody's ever died from sleep apnea. The only people that sleep apnea bothers are the people that are sleeping with the people who supposedly have sleep apnea, because they look over and, oh my God, they're dead, they're not breathing. That's the only people that are bothered. It's not the person sleeping. Your respiratory rate is regulated automatically. It's part of your autonomic nervous system, which is a name that knuckleheaded MDs have given to all of the processes in the body which are outside of your conscious control, which is like 98% of everything that goes on in your body is outside of your conscious control. There's crap happening in your body now you're completely clueless about. Millions of enzymatic processes happening every minute of every day, all automatically. Well, MDs have called sleep apnea because they're colorblind art critics. And, you know, they've thrown the baby out with the bathwater, and they completely misinterpret a normal physiological reaction. Your respiratory rate is regulated based on how much carbon dioxide is in your blood at any moment in time. How much CO2 there is in your blood at any moment in time. When there's a lot of CO2 in your blood, you breathe. When there's not a lot of CO2 in your blood, you don't breathe. So at night, when you're not moving, when you're not thinking, your body demands hardly any energy. Your body doesn't need any energy because you're lying there. You're not doing anything, right? Your body needs energy when you're up and around during waking hours. Walking, running, thinking, doing stuff, right? But at night, everything slows down. And so when everything slows down at night, it takes longer for carbon dioxide to build up in your blood. And you're not going to breathe. Because there's something wrong with you? No. Because there's not enough carbon dioxide in your blood to make you breathe. This is like elementary physiotherapy, but, you know, somebody probably related to P.T. Barnum thought years ago, oh, let's create an illness called sleep apnea, and then, it became like the 100th monkey thing. Once 100 doctors said their patients have sleep apnea, everybody believed them. Not because it's true, but because this is, we're just all bozos on this bus. An MD could tell us to jump off the roof of the hospital to fix ourselves, and we'd do it. An MD could tell us to take rat poison, we'd do it. Oh, wait a minute, we do that. It's called Coumadin, warfarin. It's rat poison. An MD could tell us to take a drug that causes cancer to treat our cancer, and we'd do it. Oh, wait a minute, we do that. It's called chemotherapy. How much we've gone down this road of our just complete belief in anything that the MD says is beyond me. But back to sleep apnea. So, there are a handful of people who have been given a diagnosis of sleep apnea that when they're on the CPAP machine, they actually feel better in the morning. They have more energy. These people don't feel better because they had sleep apnea. They feel better because they have a circulation problem. They have a problem in their body moving oxygen around in their blood. It's a circulatory problem. It's not a sleep apnea problem. Most people, you take them off the CPAP machine, they don't feel any different. But the people that do feel better from the CPAP machine, it's not because they have sleep apnea, because sleep apnea is a made-up disease. It's because there's something else going on that's slowing down the metabolism of their body, making them feel like crap in the morning. And most of the time, it's funky circulation or funky red blood cells. So what do? We put people on the diet. We put people on the 90 essential nutrients, the raw materials that the blood and the circulation and the heart and everything needs to function properly. And within 90 days, they're sleeping through the night like a baby. They're waking up refreshed. Life is good. They don't need the CPAP machine. And what the heck? For goodness sake, ladies and gentlemen, don't be bamboozled by the mediocre Machiavellian ministers of medicine. Fire your MD now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your friendly neighborhood naturopath, your steadfast advocate for health, and the phone lines are jammed up today. Must be the holiday season, must be the new moon, must be something. We're going right to the phones right away. John from Reno, thanks for calling. Sorry I couldn't fit you in yesterday. You are live.
How you doing, Doc?
Pretty good. Thanks for calling back. How can I help?
Okay, well, I'm 49 years old, and I'm just that typical male, middle-aged that's at a crossroads with my health. If I keep going, on the path I am, I'm just going to live a very sickly life and probably die young. So,
all right. I'm already saying 100%. I get it.
Yeah, and I've spent some time talking to Andy Anderson. I think you know him, and so I'm already signed up with Longevity and stuff. But he wanted me to consult with you before we kind of get my plan put together. So. But basically, I smoked for 35 years. I've just got off the cigarettes, and I've got high blood pressure, and I'm taking Liposil or whatever that is, a high blood pressure medicine.
Yeah, lisinopril, yep.
Yeah, lisinopril. And I got my ankles. I have no definition of my ankle bones on the sides of my, where your ankles should kind of poke out.
Yeah.
And my ankles are always swollen. They got kind of my skin down there is a kind of a darker color with a little bit of varicosine, and then I get that incredible cracking and callousing in my heels, and my nails don't look good anymore and stuff like that. And my weight had gone up to 245, 250. I got it down to 210 to 215 right now, so I've lost some weight.
Good.
But I kind of, would like to know what you would suggest in terms of the diet and whatnot.
All right, great. So thanks for calling. I'm going to line all of this up for you, John from Reno. I appreciate your trust, and I appreciate your waiting. John called in yesterday, but we were too jammed up. I couldn't get to him, so was patient enough to call back. So here we go. At 200 pounds, as a smoker, a historical smoker, of course, you run the risk of getting lung cancer, but selenium supplementation reduces the risk of getting lung cancer by 39%, even if you're a smoker or have been a smoker. So one of the first things you need to do is take selenium supplementation every day, and at 200 pounds, the recommendation is 4 bottles of selenium a month. That's 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium a month. I want you to take 4 capsules 3 times a day. 4 capsules 3 times a day. Now, the hypertension that you've got, I don't even know if you have hypertension because often the MDs diagnose hypertension when it's just borderline hypertension. But nonetheless, if it is in fact hypertension, the most significant cause, the most common cause of that is not enough calcium and not enough magnesium. So I'm going to have you take, in addition to 2 healthy start packs, 2 healthy start packs. I'm actually going to have you, John, take 2 healthy digestion packs, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So it's going to be 2 healthy digestion packs per month, 1 bottle of Cal Toddy, and 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium a month. That's a good place for you to start. 2 healthy digestion packs, 1 bottle of Cal Toddy, and 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium a month. Now, the Cal Toddy, I want you to take an ounce of that in a little bit of orange juice immediately before bed. 1 ounce in a little bit of orange juice immediately before bed. The Healthy Digestion Pack contains Beyond Tangy Tangerine. I want you to do 2 scoops of that powder, 2 scoops, level scoops of that powder in 24 ounces of water twice a day. And I want you to take at least an hour to drink that down. You can also put those scoops in a smoothie if you want. You can put them in yogurt if you want. You need to get 4 level scoops of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine down the hatch every day. The next thing that's part of the Healthy Digestion Pack is a white liquid calcium called OsteoFX Plus. I'd like you to take 1 ounce in a little bit of orange juice in the morning and 1 ounce in a little bit of orange juice in the afternoon or the early evening. I want you to do 1 ounce of that and 2, 3, 4 ounces of orange juice twice a day. Another thing that's in the Healthy Digestion Pack is the essential fatty acids, the EFAs. I would like you to do 2 of those capsules 3 times a day. 2 of those 3 times a day. And last but not least, I'm going to have you take the Ultimate Enzymes, which is the 3rd component of the Healthy Digestion Pack. The Ultimate Enzymes, I want you to do 2 or 3 before a big meal. And I want you to do 1 or 2 before a small or a normal-sized meal. Now, the swelling in the ankles most probably is caused by not enough protein in your blood. Not enough protein in your blood, the vast majority of the time, is caused by improper digestion of protein. So that's why I'm giving you the extra digestive enzymes. I want you to make sure that protein is at least 50% of everything that you eat. Don't forget to salt your food. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. We're talking to John from Reno. So the reason that the ankles are swollen most probably is because of not enough protein in the blood. And if you don't have enough protein in the blood, it's either because you're not eating enough protein or you're not absorbing it. Probably a little bit of both.
Right.
So, all right. So I want you to make sure from now on, as a little experiment for the next 4 weeks,
okay,
every time you eat something, half of what's on the plate is protein. All right, at least, if not 100%. Now, the easiest protein to get and to digest and to assimilate, unless you're allergic to it, is the chicken egg. All right?
Yep.
So
I love
get into
eggs.
all right, good. Get into the habit of eating chicken eggs, and we like to preserve the cholesterol in the chicken egg by cooking the egg soft scrambled in butter, soft boiled with butter and salt, or poached with butter and salt. I don't like hard-boiled eggs because you can degrade the cholesterol that way, all right?
What does soft scrambled really mean?
That means you put a little butter in a fry pan, real butter, not margarine, butter, crack an egg or 2, plop them in the fry pan, and then scramble them up in the fry pan, but don't cook them so much that they get rubbery like an omelet.
Okay, just right when they turn over, they're done, right?
Yeah, cook them so that they're still a little moist, right? They're still a little moist, and then turn the heat off and eat them, and they're delicious that way. You can add cheese or whatever else you want to it to make it taste good. Cayenne pepper is an excellent addition to that.
Lucky for me, I love eggs.
Yeah, well, good. All right, so now the varicosities are caused by not enough copper in your body. But we've got those bases covered by the selenium supplementation, because the selenium supplementation has lots and lots of copper in it, all right?
Oh,
So
okay.
now there's only one more thing you need to do, and it's not just you, it's everybody else. In addition to these supplements, you have to eliminate 10 foods from your consumption, because there are 10 foods that we have identified which will kill you, or which will generate net negative metabolic effects, and you need to stop eating them as soon as possible. So in order to get that list, just visit my website,
Yep.
fireyourmdnow.com, right? That's easy to remember, fireyourmdnow.com.
Got it right in front of me already.
All right, and on the front page there, over to the right, there's a little box where you can opt in for my free newsletter.
Okay.
So just opt in for the newsletter, and as soon as you do that, you will be sent an email that has a link to a hidden page on my website. Just click on that link, and there's a downloadable file for the good food, my good food, bad food list, and there's a little video that I put together that explains why these foods are bad. So check that out. Eliminate those foods as soon as possible. Take those supplements for 4 weeks in a row. Call me back with a report on the radio, and we'll keep track of your progress. John from Reno. Sound good?
Can I ask you one quick thing? If I could introduce one longevity supplement to my kids, what would you suggest?
It would be the Beyond Tangy Tangerine.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Doc.
All right, it's my pleasure, John. Thank you for calling, and don't forget to call us back with a report, because we like to keep track of this stuff. Thanks so much. Mac from Mississippi is up next. Mac, I think he's got a question about chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Anyway, Mac, welcome aboard. You are live.
Yeah, don't call me late for supper, Mac, again. Yesterday, after I got off the phone with you, I found out that a friend I talked to you about yesterday that had lesions on her lungs.
Yeah.
They diagnosed it as COPD, and I wanted to find out if that was going to change the protocols that you gave me yesterday.
Well, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease can be caused by a number of things, but, mostly it means that the lungs have run out of nutrition, and that the lungs are in, dire straits. And same way that if your joints are acting up, it's because your joints have run out of the nutrients they need. Or if your liver's acting up, your liver's run out of the nutrients it needs. Well, if your lungs are acting up, or acting down in this case, they've just run out of the stuff that they need. So what we do in that case is give 1 extra bottle per month of the EFA Plus. Or the EFAs. The EFAs at the 180 count would be better for this. EFAs at the 180 count. So just add to what I told you to do yesterday, 1 extra bottle of EFAs at the 180 count, and take that horse out for a ride and see what happens.
Okay. When I was listening to the rebroadcast yesterday, I thought I heard you start to say that she should take plant-derived minerals also, and you stopped yourself.
Well, I stopped myself because I thought there was an issue about finances, right?
Well, I'm paying for this for the first 90 days, so no, there's no issues.
All right. Well, you got to be careful when you do that. I appreciate your your willingness to help out maidens in distress, right?
Well, she's somebody I'm planning on spending the rest of my life with.
Okay, good. All right. Well, then that's different. All right. So then absolutely, to any program that I recommend, the first thing to add onto it would be 1 bottle of the plant-derived minerals, the cherry mints, or the mineral capsules, because the mineral capsules are the same as the liquid minerals. They just have all the water sucked out of it. So whatever is easier for the lifestyle, the mineral caps, the plant-derived minerals, or the cherry mints is the first thing to consider to add on. And also, if you've got people who are kind of, sort of, just on the edge of wanting to believe us, but they're not really quite there yet, what you can do is hook them up with 1 bottle of the plant minerals, the cherry mints, or the mineral caps, and have them take 2 capsules a day for 14 days, or 1 ounce of the liquid twice a day for 14 days. If somebody just takes a mineral supplement, and it's cheap, right? It's like $20 for the liquid minerals. If you just take a mineral supplement, 1 ounce twice a day for 14 days, Every single person that does that will notice a positive change. You can't not. So that's a nice little piece of information to know if you're a longevity person, and because every once in a while you're going to run into somebody who does in fact think that they're skeptical. They're not really skeptical, because if they really were skeptical, they would have fired their MD years ago, and they never would have taken that rat poison, right? So use the liquid plant minerals or the cherry mints to get your foot in the door with people who aren't really there yet. But yeah, absolutely, you can add the cherry mints or the plant minerals or the mineral caps. No problemo.
Okay, one last thing. Should I give her digestive enzymes because she's missing her gallbladder?
Yes, and I should have mentioned that if I didn't. Everybody who doesn't have a gallbladder gets the digestive enzymes. That's mandatory.
What's the dosage on that? She's 120 pounds.
Nobody knows. That's a great question. You got to start somewhere and see how they do. People will tell you. People will know, because all of a sudden it's like you start the digestive enzymes, and it's like all of a sudden your digestive tract starts working the way that it did years ago, and it's like, oh wow, that feels better. And so you got to kind of mess around with the dose. Some people, but the thing about the digestive enzymes is they're only effective if they're taken before or at the very beginning of the meal. If you forget and take them at the end of the meal, they'll actually hinder digestion. So you want to get into the habit of taking those particular supplements either at the beginning or a little bit before the meal would be best.
Okay, I forgot. There's one more thing I did want to ask you. She says she has a hard time tolerating salt. I've been trying to get her to eat more salt, but she says she's having a hard time tolerating salt because of all of her problems. What can she do to help strengthen her stomach acid if she can't tolerate salt?
Well, the program that I outlined is going to go a long way towards strengthening her stomach acid, especially with the digestive enzyme. And I think that if she's having a problem with salt, it's not because she has a problem with salt, but it's because she doesn't have a gallbladder. Okay. And so once she starts the ultimate enzymes, which is going to put back in her system the stuff that the gallbladder surgery took away, I bet you she'll start sucking up salt like, a thirsty man at a well.
All right.
I'm going to bet you that's going to happen, Mac. All right, man. Thanks for calling back. Keep up the good work down there in Mississippi. More people need you than you can possibly imagine. I appreciate the phone call. Looks like Pharmacist Kirk from Pennsylvania is up next. Welcome aboard, Pharmacist Kirk. You are live.
Hi. Good to talk to you. Like your style.
Hey,
hope we can go golfing sometime.
Yeah, let's do it.
I visited with the in-laws over the summer.
Yeah.
And they have a 34-year-old son, my nephew.
Yeah.
And he's very athletic. And I asked him, I was discussing longevity with him. I said, does he supplement? Does he, take vitamins and minerals? And I found out the answer was no.
Yeah.
Well, and he runs marathons. He plays the two-man volleyball.
Oh, yeah.
And he just can't get enough exercise, and he's really into it.
Yeah.
And, and I was, oh, man, this guy needs to be supplementing. Well, we got the call last week. He needs the double hip replacement.
Oh, there you go. Isn't that just typical, right?
Dead athletes don't lie.
Exactly. Now, I doubt very much that he, in fact, does need a double hip replacement, right?
He's not in pain, which is interesting.
Well,
it's discomfort, and I haven't been able to talk to him personally yet. It's discomfort, but isn't it interesting that the doctors are all over it? Like, you need that, you need this,
Well, you got to understand, and this is a really good thing to talk about on the air, because, sometimes the doctors, they're just recommending surgery because they need to put a new pool in. The kid doesn't really need surgery. But sometimes they recommend surgery because from their limited point of view, and I want to emphasize the word limited, all that they know is that once the joint starts to go, it's only a matter of time until it goes all the way. So you've got no choice but to have a hip replacement surgery eventually. So we might as well go in there now when you're healthy and young and you'll be able to handle the stress of the surgery, because as far as they're concerned, this is a one-way street and the dead end is coming up pretty quick. See, they don't know that there's a different way other than surgery. They just don't know about it. So even though, it might be borderline, osteoarthritis, the pain might be manageable or negligible, from their limited point of view, man, it's just a matter of time before the hip's gone all the way, and so we might as well engage it now when the kid can handle the stress of the surgery. That's probably how they're thinking. So, look, you got to convince him one way or the other to give our program a try for 90 days. Tell him, look, you can always have the surgery, but give us a try for 90 days and let's see if we can generate a specific and measurable, noticeable change in your life. And so you probably know what to give him, right? Are you all?
I tell you what, doctor, I developed my own protocol. I have it written down here. But of course, I'm going to let them listen to the podcast if they're willing. And okay. I developed my own, but of course I'm calling you as a more experienced person, and then we'll compare with what I have written down.
All right. How much does he weigh?
He's about 6'2", and he's very athletic, not much body fat, of course, and 200.
All right. So it's going to be 2 Healthy Start packs per month, 1 extra bottle of Cal Toddy per month, 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium per month.
I have to tell you, I was thinking of that too, because his nutritional tank is on fumes, and I'm concerned about the heart.
Yeah, you should be, especially because he's an athlete. And
the
also,
cardiomyopathy. Yeah.
little known medical fact, right, that selenium augments joint repair when arthritis is a problem. So when we throw selenium into the mix, with somebody where we're trying to fix the joints, it works better. And the last thing, right, 4 glucogel, he needs 20 glucogel capsules a day. Give him 21, that's easier. 7 with breakfast, 7 with lunch, 7 with dinner, plus the diet. He can't be even looking at wheat, barley, rye, or oats, okay? Dial that in for him, pharmacist. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Peter Glidden here. Please check the website out of the same name, fireyourmdnow.com. That's fireyourmdnow.com. Now, one more thing, Pharmacist Kirk, if you're still listening. Of course, because this kid, your nephew, is a big sports guy, if he still is doing sports stuff because his hips aren't bad enough to preclude him from doing anything, don't forget the Rebound FX. Anybody that's majorly into sports, whether they're weekend warriors or professional athletes, who take the Rebound FX, notice a remarkable difference that day in their stamina, their post-exercise recovery time, and everything. I mean, it's a really good thing to do. I could build an entire longevity empire just on Rebound FX because there are so many people in this culture that work out, and they're all drinking Gatorade, which is basically sodium and sugar, and it's crazy. So don't neglect the Rebound FX as part of the protocol here if, in fact, your nephew is well enough to continue to do stuff with his body that's just beyond walking around. Okay. So anyway, thanks for the call. Good luck dragging your nephew into the light. Why don't you have him give me a call on tomorrow's radio show or whenever? I'm happy to answer any question that he has. Next up, folks, is John from North Carolina, calling in, I think, with questions about his wife's back. Thanks for calling, John. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. It's a major thrill to talk to you. I've been listening to you and Dr. Wallach here for a couple months, about every day, and I'm off my insulin. Yeah, it's great, man. I hate getting insulin out right before dinner, and plus you got to go to the doctor to get any, so the MD. But my wife has been having back problems for a while now. It's aggravated by when she drives. She's been driving my son's car here for the last couple of days, and it's got really stiff suspension, and I believe aggravating her. Does that sound like disc? problems to you? Or?
Well, you know, it's not really a good idea to try to diagnose stuff over the radio, right? But, so, having said that, whatever the problem is with the back, 90% of the time, and I just made that number up, the majority of the time, when we have back pain, it's associated with some type of either an arthritic condition or muscle spasm. And it doesn't really matter either way, because to support and promote the health of the muscles, if they're spasming, is more or less the same thing that we do to support and promote the health of the musculoskeletal system and the discs. So, as an experiment for 7 days, how much does your wife weigh, by the way?
Oh, about 200.
All right, so for 7 days, here's what I'd like you to give her as an experiment. 2 scoops, level scoops of Beyond Tangy Tangerine in 24 ounces of water twice a day. 2 scoops in 24 ounces. I want her to take at least an hour to drink each solution down. Taking all morning to drink it would be best, and then all afternoon to drink the second one. You can put it in more than 24 ounces of water. Just don't put it in less. Now, I also want her to do, for 7 days, 3 ounces of Osteo FX Plus in a little bit of orange juice. I want her to take 1 ounce in 3 to 4 ounces of orange juice 3 times a day. And I want the final dose to be immediately before bed. Immediately before bed, all right? Have her do 12 selenium a day, 3 with breakfast, 4 with breakfast, 4 with lunch, 4 with dinner, and 7 glucogel capsules 3 times a day. 7 with breakfast, 7 with lunch, and 7 with dinner. This is just going to be a 7-day experiment to see if we can give her some relief inside of a 7-day window. Now, if she gets relief, then she needs to just continue with this program, for 90 days. And then we may be able to adjust it down a little bit. But that would be a good thing for her to play around with for 90 days. But as God is my witness, I'm going to bet you 25 cents that if she does that dosage schedule in 7 days, she's going to notice something remarkable. And also, don't forget, John, she, you, me, and everybody else needs to be avoiding the 10 bad foods. So let's not overlook that. Get on that, stay on that, and you're the greatest, John. Now listen, man, we're all in this together, and if I seem tall to you, it's because I'm